Hi, welcome to this video presentation. In this video, I will be talking about the idea of recurrence in neural nets. RNN are a class of neural net designed to process sequential data where the sequence or the order matters. Unlike traditional feed-forward networks, RNNs maintain a memory of the previous inputs using internal loops. And that's why this makes a network very ideal for tasks like text classification, language modeling, time series forecasting, and more. So let us just see what is recurrent in recurrent neural network. Type of NN or a neural network designed to handle sequential data and by introducing the concept of recurrence. Typically, a traditional neural network, unlike traditional neural network, RNNs have a loops, and then this allows the model or network to retain information from the past instances of the data. And this also allows the model to process sequences of variable lengths. And RNN is very well suited for tasks like time series data and natural language processing, speech recognition, and other sequential data processing applications. An idea of loops is key or central to recurrent neural network. The history of RNNs, it was first introduced in 1980s, but it gained momentum slowly with the arrival of computing powers like GPUs and heavy, central processing units. That these contributed quite a lot towards the evolution of RNN architecture. Why is called recurrent? Because there is a pattern of recurrence in the sequences of data. So the output of RNN is not solely dependent or determined by the current input, but also it is determined using the preceding input or preceding elements in the sequence. So intuition of recurrence is think of a way like we have memories, and by using the memory, we retain quite a bit of information. For example, the sentences like I had washed my house is much more different than I had my house washed. And in order to gain a deeper understanding of wash, who washed, and what was washed by whom, we need to look at the previous elements in the sequences. And this is called the memory. Typically, the neural nets that we have seen, a traditional neural net, you have a bunch of inputs and the hidden layer and the output layer. There is no concept of memory in standard neural network. RNN, in contrast, it is designed to act on a particular element at a point of time and then moves to the next element at the point of time. For example, like you have sentence, I'm going to market, so it's going to process the word I first, then am, and then going, and so on and so forth. So why is typical neural nets cannot be used for sequential data? The reason is standard neural network has inputs which are independent. That means the inputs are not related to each other. Whereas in the sequential information, we would like the input to be related to the previous input. And hence the standard neural network is not suitable for our sequence processing. Typically, how a standard neural network, you have independent data columns, and these columns are like associated with weights, and they take part in the linear transformation WTX plus P, which is very similar to what we have seen in the neural net, oh sorry, in linear regression. And the part two of the processing of a neuron is the activation. And finally, you have the output. The output can be a linear output or can be a sigmoid depending on the task. For example, if it is classification, then we have sigmoid. And if it is multi-class, we have softmax here. And if it's a regression problem, typically we keep it linear. So essentially, a typical or standard neural network is just the weighted sum of all the inputs at the same time, and you have the output. This is not how recurrent neural networks work. So in the next video, I'll talk about how to represent the sequences in RNN. Talk to you then.